On the eastern coast of the United States lies the world's third largest estuary, the Chesapeake Bay. Home to more than 3,600 species of wildlife, this environmental treasure encompasses an area of over 11,000 square kilometers, nestled between the states of Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. This major source of seafood, recreation, and environmental diversity has been listed on the EPA's Dirty Waters list for decades, and major efforts are underway to address this. But solving the pollution of such a large body of water starts with tackling the streams that feed and sustain it. One in particular is the subject of a massive environmental restoration project starting almost 10 years ago. Is this the success story the Chesapeake Bay is looking for? The Anacostia River is a tributary of the Chesapeake Bay, nestled to the east of our nation's capital. To first understand how this river affects the bay, one must first understand watersheds and how stream networks function. At its core, watersheds are an area of land that collect water and drain to a common body of water, such as a lake, river, ocean, or bay. Watersheds are not drawn arbitrarily or by political boundaries. Their boundaries incorporate the high points of the terrain that for precipitation to flow to the same endpoint. These are called watershed divides. Within a watershed, this water starts to gather and form small streams that flow to larger streams. These streams are called tributaries. These tributaries are fed by collected overland water runoff, or water that has percolated into the ground and enters the stream as groundwater. The Anacostia River is a tributary of the Potomac River that lies to the west of Washington, D.C. And since the Potomac River flows into the much larger bay, it's a tributary of the Chesapeake Bay. Watersheds are driven by the hydrologic cycle. As water evaporates into water vapor mainly over oceans, it condenses in the air to form clouds. As the saturated water vapor reaches the dew point and the air becomes supersaturated, it falls from the clouds as precipitation, feeding streams and tributaries within watersheds, eventually making its way back to the oceans to start the cycle over. The Anacostia watershed extends from Washington, D.C. up into Prince George's and Montgomery counties of Maryland. The drainage area encompasses 460 square kilometers. The main stem of the river flows for more than 9 miles through both forested and urbanized landscape. Home to a large, quickly growing population, this watershed faces many challenges that come with urbanization. Historically, the watershed has experienced heavy pollution due to the presence of close proximity legacy pollution sites, including Poplar Point, Kenilworth Landfill, Washington Gas and Light, Petco Electricity Generation Facility, and a Superfund site, Washington Navy Yard. These sites have historically impacted the river by releasing polychlorinated biphenyls, or PCBs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs, and other heavy metals that have contaminated the river sediments. Along with these legacy pollution sites, the river has been impacted by combined sewer outflows. This occurs when sewage treatment plants become overloaded during heavy storm events. Outdated infrastructure cannot handle the combined sewage and stormwater. Instead, they deal with the overloads by discharging untreated sewage and stormwater directly into the streams. This type of pollution from a single pipe or point is known as point source pollution. The Anacostia watershed is also being impacted by centuries of development within the watershed. This development and urbanization has negatively impacted the river with runoff of soils or erosion, waste disposal, runoff of macronutrients from farmland, runoff of fecal matter from livestock and pets, trash, and industrial discharges. Notice much of what was just mentioned can easily flow over the ground from anywhere to the river. When pollutants cannot be tracked back to a single point or discharge source, this is called a non-point source pollutant. But these non-point source pollutants don't just have to flow off the land. They can seep through the ground into the river as well. In 2005 and 2008, the U.S. Geological Survey and the District Department of Environment conducted groundwater quality investigations and determined the presence of pesticides in and around the groundwater feeding the Anacostia River. Historically, the Anacostia has been known as DC's Forgotten River, as locals have chosen to ignore it due to its polluted, poor water quality state. until, in 2010, the Army Corps of Engineers, in collaboration with the Districts of Columbia, the Maryland counties of Prince George's and Montgomery, and the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, unveiled a $1.7 billion plan to restore the Anacostia watershed over the next 10 years. The plan listed 6 goals for restoring the Anacostia River. Ultimately, the objective of stream restoration is to return the vegetation, structure, hydrology, and water quality of the original streams. By providing the healthy physical elements of the stream, it is assumed the original native group of organisms will return. This definition does become tricky in that the original conditions of the stream date back to before Christopher Columbus and European settlements. In this definition, it is impossible to reach those conditions. The next best thing is to rehabilitate a stream, which encompasses repairing degraded aspects of the stream to get it as close to its original condition as possible. In drastic cases, when the stream has changed so much that close to original conditions are impossible, a stream remediation can be conducted to overall improve stream quality with the original conditions not being the goal. To achieve the restoration of the Anacostia, the plan set out 8 strategies seen here. These strategies made up 3,018 individual projects, half of which were stormwater retrofits. Improving stormwater infrastructure and addressing combined sewage outflows helps eliminate both point and non-point source pollution. Preventing combined sewage outflows stops the introduction of sewage, which breeds E. coli and injects heavy amounts of macronutrients, which can also cause algal blooms and lower dissolved oxygen in the stream. Updated stormwater infrastructure helps contain non-point source runoff within structures such as bioretention ponds and detention ponds. Not only do these help prevent flooding, but they also are designed to collect trash, sediment runoff, and slowly filter out heavy metals and macronutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus. Part of the strategies include acquiring parkland, especially land along the stream's edge, known as the buffer zone. These buffer zones will naturally catch and filter contaminants if the buffer zone filled with vegetation is wide enough. This is especially important around farm. Non-point source pollution from farmland injects high levels of fecal matter from livestock and nitrogen and phosphorus from fertilizer, which also causes algal blooms, lowers dissolved oxygen, and creates dead zones from a process called eutrophication. Eutrophication occurs when nitrogen and phosphorus do what they do best: feed and grow plants, the algae, which absorbs the oxygen in the water, suffocates fish and other organisms. Those organisms decay and introduce more macronutrients, which further fuels the process. The restoration of natural wetlands and tidal waters along the river act as a passive treatment system improving water quality. They are able to filter the water, remove heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, and zinc, and most importantly, remove phosphorus, the limiting nutrient in algal blooms. They are also key in influencing biomass growth. But 10 years later, how have these strategies turned out? Since 2010, the watershed has seen an explosion in population and development growth, with Prince George's County now topping 900,000 people alone. Stormwater infrastructure upgrades have been a success, containing a majority of the point source pollution. This can be seen from successful projects such as the construction of the Anacostia Tunnel, which now has removed 90% of the combined sewage outflow discharges from the river. Development of stricter interpretations of the Clean Water Act's National Pollution Discharge Elimination System standards on water quality, including sediment and erosion control, have led to decreases in non-point source pollution from construction sites. However, overall water quality assessment for the Anacostia has not improved much. A longtime group advocating for improvement of the river, the Anacostia Watershed Society, conducts yearly comprehensive water quality assessment of the river, and in 2019 gave the river its second highest score of a 51%, a failing grade. With combined government and community efforts, categories such as trash, fecal bacteria, water clarity, and chlorophyll have been improving. However, dissolved oxygen levels and stormwater runoff volume have been degrading. Though being downgraded from a D in 2018 to an F in 2019, Positive ecological indicators have been seen signaling the stream health is moving in the right direction. The northern river otter, a species listed as species of greatest conservation need, has been spotted in the Anacostia Park. Freshwater mussels have also begun to return to the river. To date, the Anacostia watershed and the Maryland Department of Natural Resources have identified 8 species, with samples showing tremendous growth. With the return of aquatic species such as these, by definition, this can argue that some success can come from the Anacostia's restoration. Native species are returning, and the river water quality is trending in the right direction. And with the stewardship of the surrounding community and the Anacostia watershed, proper maintenance can ensure that it continues to trend in the direction we can all enjoy.